Oh, it is officially 2025, so that means only one thing. What is in my camera bag for 2025? This chair is so squeaky. Need some WD-40 on it. I absolutely love watching these videos, so with it being a new year, I've definitely got to jump on the trend and show you guys what I use on a bit of a day-to-day basis. So let's waste no more time and jump straight into it. Starting with the bag itself. Some of you may notice this bag and know what bag this is. Essentially back in I want to say 2020, 2021, maybe earlier, this was like the go-to bag. It is the Loewe Pro Tactic 450 Mark II. An absolute amazing bag, and I am still using it to today. When it comes to camera bags, there's a few things that I like to keep in mind, and mainly one of them is the protectiveness of it, keeping the camera gear protected inside of it. And with this one, it's rock solid basically. As you can see on the outside, there's all these little different straps. Let's say straps, it's almost like webbing you can basically strap things to onto the bag if you can't actually fit it inside. So let's say you have a gimbal, can't fit it inside, you can strap it to the back of it, or even on the side. There's so many different ways to attach things to the bag. There's also pockets on the sides, which are pretty cool if you want to like put in your phone, or I'm doing the wrong zip. If you want to put in your phone or your keys while you're going on for a hike, can't find it, there we go. And also a cool thing about this bag is on the bottom of it, there's a waterproof like sheet coat, basically a coat for the bag to keep it nice and dry from the wet weather. But with that being said, that brings us on to a downside of the bag, because it's very hard to stand this bag up. I know that might sound silly, but it's actually it's come to my attention that standing a bag up is something that you do very often, and it can get annoying when every time you put it down it just falls over. But that is the only one thing I have to say bad about this bag. For the inside of it, there is many different compartments. I say different compartments. You can adjust this all yourself. Take out, it's just all velcro that you can just stick down onto the bag, and basically, as you can see, this is where your camera would go. Like, you can put this there or there. You can change the layout however you want. Also, you've got some pockets here which are pretty cool to use, and a little laptop sleeve where I don't actually keep a laptop, I actually keep an iPad, which we will move on to. So the first piece of tech that I have in the bag is my iPad. Not that I take this around with me every day, but anytime that I know I want to either dump some footage or even edit some photos or even go to a meeting, I like to use this thing instead of an iPad. I even have the case that turns it basically into a laptop, so I basically don't even need a laptop. It basically is a laptop, but an iPad, which is pretty cool. It is an absolute piece of technology that I could not live without with. But with that said, I don't use it very often, but when I do need it, it's very useful, if that makes sense. Okay, let's go to the lenses that I use. This right here is the Canon 50mm f1.8 lens. What a lens, the Nifty 50. If you're a photographer and you don't have a 50mm, you need to get one. You can get them for quite a cheap price compared to some of the lenses out there, and this is definitely one that every photographer should have. I absolutely love how small it is, and with it being able to go down to f1.8 makes this lens the lowest aperture lens that I own. Honestly, this lens is a very good all-round lens, whether you're taking car photography, portrait, street photography, and maybe even in some cases some landscape photography. Maybe. Such a great lens. Go get one of these if you don't have one. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Next up, I have my Canon 17-40 f4 lens. This is maybe my most used lens. If you've been following me for a while now, then you will know that I do a lot of nightclub and event work, and this is the lens that I use to do that. With it having that 17mm wideness, it is great for if you're ever in some tight situations but you still want to get that wide shot, and it is also great for landscape photography. This thing has been an absolute workhorse over the years, and I would definitely not be in the position I am in now if I wasn't to have one of these. For the next lens that I keep in my camera bag is the one that's actually recording now. It is the Canon 24-70 f2.8 lens. If there was to be only one lens that I ever use for the rest of my life, honestly, it will probably be that lens. It has such a variety of dynamic range from that 24mm to the 70mm. If there was one lens that could basically do it all, it will be that one. And with that said, I think I might make like a whole lens review video. If you want to see that, make sure you drop it down in the comments below. And whilst you're down there, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button if you haven't already. Moving on to the piece of the resistance, that is my camera body. It's a Canon R5, which is also recording me right now. What an absolute beast of a camera. I've only owned this camera for around 6 months now, and I am absolutely loving it. It is the first camera that I've ever owned that shoots in log, so that has been a bit of a learning curve, but it has been great learning something new. It is also the first mirrorless camera that I've owned. Honestly, I have nothing bad to say about the camera. Everything that I've used it for, it has performed immaculately. I honestly couldn't ask for a better camera, and I'm very lucky to have this in my camera bag. Now this is a pretty cool thing. This right here is a new thing to my camera bag, and what it is a little SD card holder. This thing is awesome. This was actually a gift from my fiance this year for Christmas, and I absolutely love it. I think it's awesome. For fun story, I've never actually owned an SD card holder, so every time I've been out in my camera bag, they've always been loose, and that's never a good thing. It is definitely an essential item to have in your camera bag, and I can't wait to see how this leather starts. Is the word tarnishing? Where it starts to like misshape and change colour. I just think it looks even more cooler, to be honest. Thanks, Bab! Talking about SD card storage is also very important, so I also carry a LaCie hard drive in my camera bag. I believe this one is 4 terabytes, so there is plenty of storage to dump any photos or any video footage that I need to dump onto a hard drive and save it. I know a lot more people are using SSDs more nowadays, but honestly, I could not fault these. I think they're great, and it does everything that I really need it to. Plus, it has like this rubber protection case around it to keep it protected, and that is something very important when it comes to hard drives. If you break one of these things, that is your footage lost, and this thing, very protective. Sick. Next up is something I don't really see every day on what's in my camera bag videos, and that is my Godox V860 II flash. This thing has been an absolute workhorse. Like I mentioned earlier, I do a lot of nightclub and event photography, and this is an essential item to use in these dark situations. I've gone through many different flashes in the past by breaking them, but this one right here has been an absolute workhorse for maybe the past 3 years since I've had it. I honestly could not recommend these flashes anymore. I think they are an absolute great product and an absolute essential item in my camera bag. Also, kept with that is a diffuser. Just yeah, put that out there. Next up is my camera cleaning kit, another essential item to have in your camera bag. I would highly recommend everyone to have one of these in the camera bag. You never know if you ever get into a sticky situation where you're gonna have to clean your camera, and this thing holds it all together nicely. I say that, it's a bit everywhere at the minute. It doesn't even look like there's a lot in there. There we go. Next up, we have my DJI Mini 2. What an absolutely revolutionary piece of equipment. Honestly, would I consider this to be an absolute essential item in your camera bag? No, but I do think they're pretty cool, and it definitely does give you the opportunities to get photos or videos that you wouldn't be able to capture if you didn't have one of these things. Now I know with it being the DJI Mini 2 and we're in 2025, it is a bit of an outdated one, but honestly, I don't really have the need to upgrade anytime soon. I think the camera quality is good enough for what I need it for. And would you just look how small this thing is? What an absolute tiny little piece of equipment. Fits in the camera bag really nicely. But I just can't carry the drone itself, so I also have the controller and spare batteries. So that whole thing was like the Creator Combo Pack or whatever it's called. But either way, what a piece of equipment to have in my camera bag. Sick. Next up is something that I don't actually have in my camera bag, but strapped onto the outside on occasion is my Manfrotto, what is it, 190 Go tripod. A tripod is one of them things where it's always good to have, but can be annoying to carry around with you, especially this one. I'm not gonna lie, it is a very heavy tripod, so considering taking it with me or not is one of them humming and ahhing moments. Do I not take it with me? Do I really need it? but yet then you don't take it with you. You get to the place you want to shoot and you really could do with it. Yeah, one of them. But it's something that every photographer or videographer is going to need at some point, and this is the one that I use. I really could do with like a travel one, maybe like something like a carbon fiber one. Maybe that will make things a lot more easier. And for the final thing in my camera bag is this right here. This is a little case that I keep a few different accessories and my GoPro stuff. So we have my GoPro Hero 9 that I use for all of the POV stuff that I do, or if I'm ever in some sort of action necessary spots that I need to use this. Great piece of equipment with all the different little accessories and stuff. And I also keep my little self shutter remote in there, which is also an essential item that I could not live without. If you have seen some of the rest of the videos and been following me that I've been making, you would know that that piece of equipment right there is such a sick item and I could not live without it. It makes things so much easier, especially when you're on your own out shooting, and even if you're taking yourself some self-portraits or even long exposures. It's one of them items that once you have it, you could not go without it. Well, there you have it. That is everything that I have in my camera bag for 2025. I'll try and link everything in the description below if you wanted to go and check anything out. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It has been your boy Media. Thank you for watching, and I guess I'll see you next time. Safe.